Princess Project number 3, Type 1 Mark. This project tonight is almost like Christmas for me. I got this stuff off of eBay, and inside here, quite excited because there's an item and you're going to get 3 good surprises out of this. Apart from opening up so I can give feedback, I haven't really had a chance of a good look at everything. So let's start off with that magical. First of all, I have a model of a princess class. This one is 46205, the Princess Victoria. As you can see, it's not in the best way. The wheels are obviously out of alignment. It doesn't have a front pony with it, and when I turn it over into the side, you'll see that one of the drive wheels has come off. That's why the wheels on the other side are out of alignment, and the gear has come off as well. But looking at the bodywork, it's a nice example. At the back, this pin is okay, but this pin is missing. That's a minor detail. It has the later brass whistles on it rather than the moulded 4-whistle cap. But it's got both buffers, and the buffer bar is complete. So overall, this is going to be an interesting project because it's got enough to get another princess running. Okay, now for one of the surprises. It came with 2 maroon and cream coaches that would have been supplied with the Princess Elizabeth set, probably mid to late 60s. Wonderful condition. Here you can see that. Buffers at each end, no brakes. The roof seems complete. At the other end, buffers again complete, coupler complete, bogies complete and seem to be in good order. The underframe on both sides appears to be complete as well. Here's the other one. I can never quite remember the difference between these coaches, but I think this is a second class composite coach. Again, it has complete buffers. The coupler's a bit rusty, but we can change that. Buffers at this end as well with a complete coupler, and again in good condition. It has a running number 24010, nice windows and no apparent damage that I can see. So that's a good surprise to get a couple of coaches. Second surprise I got was the tender. Now I see a lot of these tenders coming in, and the main thing is the decals come off and scratched, but in this one the decals look virtually complete, almost like the day they were put on this side and on the other side. Later model, of course, because all 6 wheels are flanged. In the early ones, the 2 middle ones were flattened. The Type 3 coupler at the back. 1 buffer missing, but I do have in fact a replacement buffer. The draw hook on these always comes loose, and you'll find underneath it that the hook fits onto a pin, and it's the pin that's broken. This usually means gluing the pin so that it's fairly rigid rather than have a little bit of movement. But any tenders I've repaired like that usually end up working very well. It's got a coal insert, and that can be easily removed. Needs a bit of a clean up, but overall good condition. And here's the third surprise, which I wasn't really expecting. It's my old friend, the Ginty. I've now got a number of these Ginties. I have actually made a video on building one. Hopefully you'll catch it, like it, and comment favourably. It has the original number 47606. Looks in good condition. Will probably need a good clean up. Check out the motor. It's got a later chassis type with the screw on the side of the chassis rather than the chimney screw. So, a nice little bundle. Apart from the parts which are inside, I can now take all this away. Or just give me a second to clear this out all the way. Nice box. Hope I can use that. I wouldn't like to throw it out. So here's what I've got. Two coaches that I do know make up the set. Princess Victoria with, I found the front bogie, but it doesn't have the drawbar on it. However, I've got a number of these as spares. The centre drive wheel for the other side, and I can certainly get this up and running. It needs the insulating bush because I can notice that if I try and take it out, it has crumbled, and that affects, they dry up and it affects the insulation. So I've got some of those as well. The really good condition tender, just needing a wee repair to the front draw hook, and a Ginty which will probably be a project all of its own. Right, give me a chance to clear all this away, and the first thing I'm going to do is start working on the locomotive. Well, there's the locomotive waiting for us. So let's just get a little box for the bits and let's see if we can dismantle her. This one is held on with a screw at the front of the chassis just above the buffer bar. Needing her nice clean, but it'll be interesting to see what else there is there. I should be able to lift the front of that off and unhook it from the rear support. This has been lying a while. Look at that, cobwebs. Now I should have a brush somewhere. This little lady hasn't run in a while. No. It looks like a Mark IV motor with the felt pads at front and back, but I notice that the insulation is in the left pole rather than the right. Well, that makes a difference, I don't know. Does this unclip? Let me just try and remove this, folks. Yep. That should just come out nicely. There we go. Take the motor out and keep it to one side. Oh, it's in a really dirty condition. Right. Go. That's the centre screw holding the con rods. And be careful because there's also a spacer underneath. And that goes in there. And these are the X515, 516, the fluted con rods, with this piece at the front of the centre hole and the oil well simulations at the top. Great. That can come out there. I noticed that this particular chassis has facilities for a Sooth unit, and I think I've got a spare one, so I think I'll try and get this one running as a steamer. Next thing I want to take off is the rear pony. It's useful when you're working on machines like this to take off as many loose bits as you can. It makes it slightly easier. And then finally the cylinder block, which has been held with a screw underneath, and that's obviously because on top the Sooth unit is going to go there, and if you put the cylinder unit underneath, on top I should say, it would block the smoke. I'll try and edit that out, guys. Right, okay, wires come loose from the pickup, so I'm going to take off the pickup. Looking at the pickup assembly, the fingers, which are nice copper strips, look complete. Still got spring in them. And they look in good condition. This little tag here should have a wire on it. In fact, it's this wire here. And it looks like the solder has dry jointed and come adrift. Now it would not surprise me if that had happened earlier on, and because the engine wouldn't run, that perhaps perhaps I thought it was not worth repairing and just put it to one side. And then the other members of the family come along and think, I wonder if we could give it to someone who can work on it. Like me. I'm glad they did, and hopefully if you're watching I'll have it up and running, get it back into almost its original condition. That's what I do, that's what I love doing. Yes, so what I need is to check out these driving wheels. Now there should be another one somewhere. And here we have, I'd put it aside with some of the other stuff. Let's just remove the con rod, driving gear and con rod. And those are the wheels. Now I'm not sure if you can see, but this rather ugly looking bit around the axle should be an insulating bush. It seems to have almost disintegrated. Yeah. In fact, it looks like both wheels have been fitted with insulating bushes. I find that strange. I wonder if someone's had a go at this. There's one insulating bush out, and you can see how this crumbled. They dry up and they crumble after a while. And I always find when I'm servicing these locomotives, it's a good idea just to check these. I should have a couple of insulating bushes here. These are what this should be like. Let me take one out of the packet. Okay, this is a new one. a lot of sellers on eBay are able to supply these. They're reasonably expensive, a couple of pound each or something, but I think if you're repairing a locomotive, it's probably worthwhile. I don't have any qualms with paying that. What I do find is I'm unhappy about having a bush on both sides. I think this wheel has been incorrectly replaced. So I'm going to stop here, folks, and I'm going to try and find a wheel that's non-insulating that will fit onto the drive shaft. Be back shortly. I'm coming in at this point because I've stripped the chassis right down, taken the wheels off, front and rear driving wheels, and I discovered that this centre gear wheel assembly is not running very well. If I try and turn it, it sticks, and I've spent a bit of time on it trying to free it. I've removed all sorts of guns from both end spindles. Looks like glue to me, so I think someone's had a real go. And as I look round the axle here, you can see evidence of harsh treatment. There are scratches and there's scores, and you won't be able to see it on camera, I'm sure, but there's a very slight misalignment from this axle through to this axle, as if a lot of force had been applied to it. And I'm getting the feeling that I'm going to have to scrap this particular chassis, which is a shame because I was looking forward to reassembling with the smoke unit and with the under chassis cylinder block. However, I might get another one. I'm waiting for a wheel extractor to come up so that I can remove this gear wheel and perhaps fit a new axle assembly. Again, it might not be that easy to see, but round here it's evidence of some form of agent been applied to it, maybe adhesive, I don't know, but it's really catching everything and it's preventing this chassis from working. I do need a new axle, so I'm just going to put this one aside and build my next princess on another chassis. So that will go aside for things to look at when I've got more time. At this point I have two errors to correct. You might remember earlier on in the video I was working with this particular chassis. I liked it because it's the smoke unit, but then I discovered that this middle drive gear was sticking and wouldn't rotate freely in the recess. Eventually I managed to extract the axle, and I'm going to try and hold it up to the camera and see if it'll autofocus and let you see it. There we go. Can you see that right round the axle, like tooth marks of some kind? Someone looks as if they had the right go at trying to hold that. No idea what they were trying to do, but they've certainly ruined that. I thought maybe that would scrap this chassis. However, I came across an other type of chassis held together with screws, and I think part of it has been chopped off somewhere. It has. So all I had was like that, like an 060, but because it's screwed in I could remove it, and I've extracted the axle and the gear wheel. So this can go into my chassis here and get this up and running, which is good news because I was looking forward to getting this particular locomotive running. So these bits here are bin fodder. These are the new bits. That's the first error. The second error involves these centre drive wheels that actually go onto that axle. I was a bit confused by the fact that both of these had insulating bushes in them. I thought maybe someone had changed one for another one. However, I did what I should have done earlier. I looked at the service manual and they both have exactly the same part number, so these have both need insulating bushes in them. I fitted 2 new insulating bushes, so these are now ready to go, and with the new axle, which I hope will rotate freely in the chassis, we can now start to rebuild this. And I'm really excited about this because rebuilding it from absolute scratch. So here goes. First of all, I'm going to insert the gear wheel into the chassis, press the axle through, locate it into the drive wheel. Oops. There we go. And at this point, a little bit of pressure is required. Get that there. And a little tap with the hammer to put the centre of the axle into the drive wheel, and that should now run freely. I think that's the hardest task over with. The rest is just simply building my princess. So sit back, I'll put a bit of music on and enjoy. Before I tighten these and press them together, I have to make sure that these are in fact in alignment. And because of the service manual, the right hand wheels should be leading the left hand wheels by 90 degrees. So if that sits there in that position, when I turn it over, the locating wheel should be at 90 degrees. So as you look at it, 3 o'clock there, turn it over, should be 6 o'clock there. And just get it about there. That's looking good. Now I can just gently squeeze them in the jaws of a vice. What I'm trying to do is make the bush and the axle flush on both sides. Check that it's still at 90 degrees, they are indeed. Now for the front pair, the insulating bush is on this side, so I can put that one in there. This is the other wheel, and they should be at 90 degrees. Line these up together, that should be there and there. They look pretty good, and gently squeeze them together. for the centre pair, the insulating bush, well, actually it doesn't matter, they're both insulated. One on that side, and the other one on the side, again at 90 degrees. It's not quite there. Like so. There we go. A little bit of oil. I did have it. The next stage is assembling the coin rods. I'll need my cylinder block, which fits underneath, held in place with a little screw and washer. So let's put that in first. Cylinder block slides into the groove, sits in there, little washer, and self-tapping screw. This looks so untypically trianged that at one time I questioned whether it's a genuine triangle screw, but yep, it's got a part number on the parts list. It's a genuine triangle screw. Held with a little washer, keeps it firmly in place. And now I can start to assemble the coin rods. For each side there is a piston assembly with a piston rod that slides into the cylinder block, and it's got a collar that fits over the piston guides. And sometimes this will go in right away, sometimes it needs a little bit of manoeuvring. So let's see how this goes. And there, collar on the top, underneath, and that should just move in and out. A little bit of my oil. I keep shifting things, folks, I keep shifting things. Probably there. In and out. And then the joint coin rods. These tabs represent oil wells that the engineers would fill at most stops, and this little bit here goes to the rear. There is a spacer which fits between the two sets of the drive chain. Screw into the middle, and that's looking not too bad. Now turn over to the other side, and we just repeat the process. Collar over there, piston into the block, get that bit in first, one part of the collar in, you're trying to line up 3 contact points at exactly the same time, and it doesn't always want to cooperate. So let me try this technique. In there, in there, and then maneuver so that it fits into the guide. And there we have it. Coin rods for this side, and they should line up exactly with the spacer, and finally the screw. Now, I notice that one of these wheels is slightly out of alignment. Those are okay, these are not, and I think it's this front one that's a problem. Now, the difficulty I had here was that one of the wheels was very slightly out of alignment, so that when the coin rods were in one position, the coin rods opposite were not quite all 90 degrees out of phase, and that can tend to stick them. My only problem is, will it go out of phase again, because I think it was a wheel that slipped off when I was assembling it. If it is, then I'll decide what to do later on. So here she is, Princess Victoria, all assembled and ready to go. Just grab sideways. There's a lovely nameplate, yellow on red, big flanged wheels. Moving up to the front, detail, cylinder block, the buffer bar, type 3 couplers. So let's just zoom out a wee bit. I'll take her in all the way, and I've coupled her up to a tender with the lined tender. I'm not quite sure what insignia that is. It looks as if it's a line with the crown. It's quite good neck and same on both sides. So let's get her rolling. and we'll see what's coupled with the, oops, there we go. And here, 2 chocolate and custard, I think they're called, coaches, which came with the Princess Victoria when I opened the box. I haven't done anything to them at all apart from check them out. They would need a wee bit of clean, a wee bit of lubrication, but they're in really nice condition for how old they are. So I've coupled them all up together, Princess Victoria and the coaches, so let's give them a little run. There we go. Right, now I'm not very good at the handheld. Let's move around the back of the layout, coming up towards it. Right. Just go off a little bit more. And I'm just going to let it run round a couple of times. I'm quite satisfied with that one. Our second princess, Princess Victoria. And just while we're here, that there is my first one, Princess Elizabeth, 16201, just sitting waiting patiently to be tended to. And just while we're here, scroll over and what have we got? A couple of drinkies, just sitting patiently waiting for me. Right, final shot of the Princess Victoria. And we'll just leave it there. So to sum up, Princess Victoria 46205 now up and running. Quite a difficult repair, more difficult than I've faced before, because I had to replace the axle. You might remember this axle here. But I think you have to step up to the challenge sometimes and not just put things aside. So with the help of an old chassis which I had lying around, I was able to extract the relic gear and get it in. Lining up these wheels, they have to be 90 degrees out of phase. Probably about no more than 1 degree either way. If it's more than that, your wheels are going to stick, as you saw earlier on. Sorry I missed out the middle bit, but all the other bits getting together, building it up, but I'm sure you've seen that before. You're certainly going to see it again. So, another successful princess and part of my princess project. I'm now going to work on a green princess, so hopefully that will be next. Thank you for watching. I love your time and attention. If you like it, please say so. Give me a favourable comment and subscribe to my channel if you're like me and you like servicing these locomotives. Until then, keep watching YouTube. Bye for now.